May I have your attention, please? All right, lots of excitement, lots of things going on today, and we've got a lot to get accomplished with to help our students who are preparing for our fine arts contest. So this is a working assembly, and we will not be worrying about transitions as much as just giving students the opportunity to perform and to get used to performing in front of people so that we can prepare for our fine arts competition next week. The schedule, we have a lot of students performing. I'm very excited about that, but we have so many that we couldn't have them all in one assembly today. It would just take too long to listen to everyone. So some of you that are performing, you are going to perform next week in chapel, both in elementary chapel and in high school chapel. But we're going to get as many people as we can in today, and I will simply tell you who is coming, and you'll get all set up. And then we'll start and just go through that little set of 3 or 4 performers, and then I'll tell the next people to go into getting set up. If I call your name and say, all right, I want you to get set up, I want you to come sit either in the front pew over here or front pew over here, and be prepared just to walk right up on stage. If you are doing a speech or a solo, I want you to come to this microphone. You're going to come pretty close to this microphone, about where I am standing here, so you'll be pretty close. We want to do that so we can hear you. If you're in a small group, you will come closer to the front of the stage and stand right here, just a foot or 2 or 3 behind this microphone. So you remember that as well. Let's start with a word of prayer, and then we will get started with our performers today. Heavenly Father, we do thank you for your goodness to us. I thank you for the chance that you have given us to perform and to use the abilities that you've given. You have given these students the abilities to sing, to memorize speeches, to perform, to play the piano and instruments. Lord, we thank you for those talents that you have given. I pray that our students would never be proud of abilities that really were given to them freely and that they did not earn. But Lord, I pray that we would also use those talents for your honor and glory and develop those talents to use them the best that we can. And so that's why we're here. That's why we practice for this fine arts competition. Lord, I pray that you would help each one of these performers to be calm, not to be nervous today, but to use this as a learning experience to do our best next week for competition. So thank you for the opportunity, thank you for your blessing, and thank you for the power and the ability that you've given these students. We praise in your Son's name, amen. First set of students that are going to perform today, we're going to start with Lily Pliska, classical piano solo. So Lily, you can come and sit right at the piano. You're going to be next. Elizabeth Wiggins, you're going to do your junior high humorous interp next. So Elizabeth Wiggins, wherever you are, come right on up here to the front pew so you can walk right to the microphone after Lily is done. And then Devin Snyder, why don't you come on down and you can sit in the front as well and be ready for your female vocal solo right after that. Don't forget, performers, to introduce yourselves like you would for the fine arts competition as well. All right, so at this time we will start with Lily Pliska. Make sure you give all the performers your attention, and then you can clap after each performance.
My name is Elizabeth Wiggins. I'm in the 7th grade at the Landmark Christian Academy, and I will be reciting I'm a Helper, Susie P. by Christopher E. Graham. Hi, my name is Susie P. Crumper-Dipolopoulos, but people call me Susie for short. There's this one boy in our class who kept calling me Crummy Dummy, but he can't pronounce it anymore since he got that fat lip. My daddy said it took forever to find someone who would marry a guy with the last name Crumper-Dipolopoulos. Mom says he refused to mention his last name to her until after the wedding reception. I hope I marry a man with a normal last name, like Papadopoulos or something like that. Daddy says people with long last names are extra special, and it must be true, because at the last parent-teacher meeting, all the other parents only got to meet our teacher, but my parents got to meet the principal too. Our principal was bragging on me to my mom and dad, saying, "Oh, I'm a good helper." Yes, sir, nobody helps like Susie P. Crumper-Dipolopoulos. Our principal was saying that I help the depressed kids in our class because I'm incorrigible. Daddy told him I'm the same way at home. My dad was a deacon in the church at the town where we used to live, but he isn't at our new church. He's been de-deaconed, so to speak. I guess he's just an deacon now. I like the church in our new town. My Sunday school teacher is this old lady named Miss Perkins. The kids in our class called her Sticky Toes Perkins because when she's teaching, she slips off her shoes, and her toes make a sticky sound on the tile when she walks, like this. Well, she doesn't walk really, it's more of a shuffle. She uses a walker to help her get around. I think they should call it a shuffler. After the lesson, she always asks if anyone has a question. I have a question, Miss Perkins. Yes, what is it, Susie? Were you alive in Bible days? Alive in Bible days? Goodness sakes, child, no. Well, not during the Old Testament, anyway. I think Miss Perkins likes my mom because she goes to talk to her after almost every Sunday school class. Miss Perkins must think I'm the smartest person in our class because she keeps saying I should go ahead to the next grade. But Mom says I have to wait till my birthday. I told Mr. Baxter I'd be in his class next year. Boy, was he excited. I think I even saw a little tear come to his eye. We are having a revival at our church this week. I was a special blessing to the evangelist last night. After the service, he always stands at the door to shake everyone's hands as they leave. When he shook my hand, I gave him $1 from my piggy bank. I said, "I want you to have this because I want to be a help to you, and nobody helps like Susie P. Crumper-Dipolopoulos." Yes, that's what I hear, but why are you giving me $1? Well, I thought you could use it because my daddy here says you're the poorest preacher he's ever heard. I'm excited for tonight's service because afterward is the big potluck dinner. My mom is known for always bringing her famous deviled egg with the red powder on them. Last time we had a dinner at church, Mom said she was out of the red powder stuff, but that would be okay without it. I could tell she was disappointed not to have the powder, so I helped her. I remember it was red, and it had a P in it, just like me, Susie P. So I looked in the cupboard, and sure enough, in the back, we did have some red chili powder. I put a lot on, just like Mommy does, then put the lid back on the container so she wouldn't know it helped her. The pastor took one bite and said, "Who, I say who, made these eggs?" I let him know my mommy did, and I was very humble and didn't say how helped at all, but that she did it all by herself. They must have been so good that everybody got the recipe and now make them a lot because Mommy says she's not to bring them anymore. For tonight's potluck, she made cupcakes. I like how she puts the icing on, then breaks up a Hershey bar and puts a little piece on top. I love Hershey bars, so when Mommy wasn't looking, I ate one from one of the cupcakes. Then ate another, and before I knew it, all of the chocolates were gone. I looked in the cooking drawer, but there weren't any more of those little chocolate rectangles. I thought I would get in trouble until I went to brush my teeth after lunch, and in the medicine cabinet next to the toothpaste was a box full of those little chocolate rectangles. They weren't from the Hershey Company, though. They were by the Lax people. So I made sure to put the name face down the icing. No one will ever know. My mommy's cupcakes are so good. I'm going to make sure everyone knows she made them. Yes, sir. When it comes to being a good helper, there's nobody like Susie P. Crumper-Dipolopoulos.
Hi, my name is Devin Snyder. I'm in the 7th grade. I go to Landmark Christian Academy, and today I'll be singing He Gave Himself for Me by Julie Jones Potter. Comforted by John Carter. Hi, my name is Julia Pliska. I'm in the 8th grade at Landmark Christian Academy, and today I'll be performing for you The Ransom of Red Chief. It looks like a good thing, but wait till I tell you. We were down south in Alabama, Bill Driscoll and myself, outside a little town called Summit, when this kidnapping idea struck us. Bill and I had about $600, and we just needed $2,000 more to pull off a land scam in Illinois. We carefully chose our kidnapping victim, the only child of an influential citizen named Ebenezer Dorset. The child was a lively boy of 10 with flaming red hair, and we thought for sure old Dorset would pay a ransom of $2,000 to get his boy back. But wait till I tell you. We stored our supplies in a cave outside Summit, then drove a horse and carriage past old Dorset's house just to check out the situation. As we approached, we saw the little boy. He was throwing rocks at a kitten across the street. I says, "Hey, little boy, how'd you like a bag full of candy and a nice ride in our carriage?" Well, that boy took a rock and hit Bill right in the eye. When we grabbed him, he put up a fight like a wild animal, but we finally got him in the bottom of the carriage and drove away. We took him back to the cave where we left our supplies, and while I was planning out the details of our scheme, I left the boy in Bill's care. Well, that was a mistake. After just a little while, Bill and the kid came sneaking up on me. Somehow that boy had gotten 2 large bird feathers and stuck them in his hair just like an old-time Injun. He points a stick at me and says, "Ha, pale face, you dare enter the camp of Red Chief, terror of the plains?" I didn't pay much attention to the would-be Indian boy, but I was a bit concerned about the look of pain on Bill's face as he stood there rubbing his apparently injured leg. So I asked him, "Bill, what happened to you?" "Oh, it's all right now. We was playing Indian, I'm old Hank the Trapper." "Old Hank's my captive, and I'm gonna scalp him at daybreak." I believe he would have done it too if he got the chance. So I decided to reason with the boy. "Well, Red Chief, wouldn't you like to go home soon?" The boy's response was not at all what I'd expected. "Go home? Oh, what for? I don't have any fun at home, and I hate to go to school. I like to camp out. I don't want to go home." "You don't?" says I. "No, you don't really make me go home again, will you?" "Well, I guess not right away. We'll camp out here in the cave for a while." And that apparently pleased the boy. "All right, I never had such fun all my life. We went to bed late that night, but just at daybreak, I was awakened by some terrible screams from Bill. I found Red Chief sitting on top of Bill's chest with one hand pulling up his hair and the other holding a sharp knife. I managed to get the knife away from the boy and get him off Bill. But after that, Bill's spirit was just broken. He'd lied down at night, but after that near scalping, Bill never closed an eye again to sleep as long as that boy is with us. On top of that, Bill's beginning to have his doubt about the success of our kidnapping scheme.
Sam, you really think anybody will pay good money to get a little brat like that back home?
Of course, says I. A kid like that is just the kind that parents love. Now you and Chief get up and make some breakfast while I go take a look around. So I climbed to the top of the mountain and looked out over towards Summit. I had expected to see all the men of the village searching the countryside for the boy, but they weren't. Everything was peaceful. Well, I figured that maybe they didn't yet know that the wolves had taken the lamb from the flock, and we just have to be patient. When I returned to the cave, I found Bill backed up against the cave wall, panting for breath, with the boy threatening him with a large rock. I shouted, "Just what is going on in here?" Bill says,
"He started, Sam. He put a red-hot potato on my back and then crushed it with his foot."
Then Red Chief complained, "Well, then he boxed my ears." Sam, all pathetic like, he asked,
"Have you got a gun with you? Huh? Have you?"
I took a rock away from the boy and ended that argument. But I could tell the matter was not yet settled, at least not for the boy. "Ah, fix you. No man ever yet struck Red Chief and not got what was coming to him. You better be careful." I took hold of that boy and shook him good. "Boy, if your behavior doesn't improve, I'm going to send you straight home. You understand me? So are you going to be good or not?" After a moment, the boy gave in. "Oh, I was only funning. I didn't mean to hurt old Hank. Only, what'd he have to go and hit me for? Oh, I'll behave, you won't send me home." Well, I gave the boy another chance, and I figured I'd better send a ransom note to Old Man Dorset right away before matters got any worse. The letter said, "Dear Mr. Dorset, we have your boy hidden in a place far from Summit. We demand $2,000 for his return. The money is to be left at midnight tonight in a small box at the location marked on the map enclosed. If you agree to these terms, send the answer in writing by messenger tonight at 8:30. If you fail to meet our terms, you will never see your boy again. But if you pay the money as demanded, he'll be returned to you safe and well within 3 hours." I mailed the letter, signed, Two Desperate Men. I mailed the letter off and sat around listening for news about the kidnapping. When I heard that all of Summit was talking about Ebenezer Dorset's boy being stolen, I'd heard enough. I went to the place on the map, climbed up a tree, and waited. At 8:30 exactly, I saw a boy ride up on a bicycle, put a piece of paper in the box, and then ride back towards Summit. Just as soon as he was out of sight, I climbed down the tree, got the note, and was back at the cave in half an hour. I opened the note and read it to Bill. This is what it said. "Gentlemen, I received your letter about the ransom you asked for, the return of my son. I think you're a little high in your demands. I hereby make you a counter-proposal, which I believe you will accept. You bring Andrew home and pay me $200, and I agree to take him off your hands. You better come at night, though, because the neighbors believe he is lost, and I cannot be responsible for what they do to anybody they saw bringing him back. Very respectfully, Ebenezer Dorset." I was stunned at the father's response. Well, great Pirates of Penzance, of all the nerve! But Bill looked at the matter differently.
"Sam, what's $200? Really, we've got the money, and I'm telling you, Sam, one more night with this boy will drive me crazy."
I think Dorset's making us a pretty good offer. We aren't going to let this go, are we? To be honest, Bill, this boy's got on my nerves too. I guess we'll take him home, pay the ransom, make our getaway. The boy wasn't so happy about our plans. "But I don't want to go home. I am Red Chief, terror of the plains. You can't make me go home." We did manage to take the boy home that night, but it wasn't easy. We had told him that his dad had bought him a new gun and now we were going hunting bears the next day, and he believed us. It was around midnight when we knocked on Dorset's front door. We were met with a smug look that didn't sit well with me, but Bill counted out $200 in old Ebenezer's hand. Then we tried to hand the boy over to get rid of him, but Red Chief wasn't going to surrender without a fight. That boy grabbed hold of Bill's leg as tight as he could and let out a wail that would set your hair on end. But the boy's father finally pulled him away. Bill asks,
How long do you think you'd hold him so that we can, get away?
Dorset smugly replied, Well, I'm not as strong as I used to be, but I think I can give you maybe 10 minutes.
Bill looked relieved. That'll be enough. In 10 minutes, I'd cross the central, southern, and middle western states and be running for the Canadian border.
And, as dark as it was, and as big as Bill was, and as good as a runner that I am, Bill was a good mile and a half out of Summit before I could catch up to him.
I'm in the 9th grade and I'll be playing Over a Dozen Tongues arranged by Faye Lopez. I'm Lily Pliska, a junior from Landmark Christian Academy. I will be presenting a speech given before Congress by Frank Stevens, a young man living with Down syndrome. Down syndrome is a condition in which a person is born with extra genetic material from chromosome 21, resulting in developmental issues, serious health problems, and usually an early onset of dementia. Because one of the main genes responsible for Alzheimer's disease is also in chromosome 21, people with Down syndrome have an increased risk of developing Alzheimer's, a risk about 6 times greater than that of others. This link between Down syndrome and Alzheimer's disease is a rich opportunity for advances in prevention and treatment. On the basis of this valuable connection, and on the basis of the value of any human life, Frank Stevens appeals to the National Institute of Health for further funding. It is with the greatest respect for those with Down syndrome, and for Frank Stevens in particular, that I present to you his speech before Congress on October 25th, 2017. Mr. Chairman, and members of the committee, just so there is no confusion, let me say that I am not a research scientist. However, no one knows more about life with Down syndrome than I do. Whatever you may learn today, please remember this. I am a man with Down syndrome, and my life is worth living. Sadly, across the world, a notion is being sold that maybe we don't need research concerning Down syndrome. Some people say prenatal screens will identify Down syndrome in the womb, and those pregnancies will just be terminated. It's hard for me to stand here and say those words. I completely understand that people pushing this particular final solution are saying that people like me should not exist. That view is deeply prejudiced by an outdated idea of life with Down syndrome. Seriously, I have a great life. I have lectured at universities, acted in an award-winning film and Emmy-winning TV show, and have spoken to thousands of young people about the value of inclusion in making America great. Seriously, I don't feel I should have to justify my existence. But for those who question the value of people with Down syndrome, I would make 3 points. First, we are a medical gift to society, a blueprint for research into cancer, Alzheimer's, and immune system disorders. Second, we are an unusually powerful source of happiness. A Harvard-based study has discovered that people with Alzheimer's, as well as their parents and siblings, are happier than society at large. Surely happiness is worth something? Finally, we are the canary in the eugenics coal mine. We are giving the world a chance to think about the ethics of choosing which humans get a chance at life. So, we are helping to defeat cancer and Alzheimer's, and we make the world a happier place. Is there really no place for us in the world? Is there really no place for us in the NIH budget? On a deeply personal note, I cannot tell you how much it means to me that my extra chromosome could be the answer to Alzheimer's. It's likely that this thief will one day steal my memories, my very life from me. This is hard for me to say, but it has already begun to steal my mom from me. Please, think about all those people you love the way I love my mom. Help us make this difference, if not for me and my mom, then for you and the ones you love. Fund this research. Let's be America, not Iceland or Denmark. Let's pursue answers, not final solutions. Let's make our goal to be Alzheimer's free, not Down syndrome free. Thank you.
My name is Olivia Anders, and I'm from Landmark Christian Academy in the 5th grade, and I will be reciting Susie P. by Christopher E. Graham. Hi, my name is Susie P. Crumper-DePaul-Paulus, but people call me Susie for short. There was this one boy in my class who kept calling me Crummy Dummy, but he can't pronounce it anymore since he lost that tooth. My daddy says it took forever to find someone who would marry a guy with the name Crumper-DePaul-Paulus. Mommy says he refused to mention his last name to her until after the wedding reception. I hope I marry a guy with a normal last name, like Papa-DePaul-Paulus, or something like that. My daddy says people with long last names are extra special. It must be true, because at the last parent-teacher meeting, all the parents only got to meet our teacher, but my parents got to meet the principal, too. He was bragging on me to my mom and dad, saying how I'm a helper. Yes, sir, nobody helps like Susie P. Crumper-DePaul-Paulus. He said I help the sad kids in our class because I'm incorrigible. Daddy told him I'm the same way at home. I like the church in our new town because my dad was a deacon in the town where we used to live, but he isn't at our new church. He's been de-deaconed, I'd say. I guess he's just an Eakin now. I like the church in our new town because my Sunday school teacher is this old lady named Miss Perkins. The kids in my class call her Sticky Toes Perkins because while she's teaching, she slips off her shoes and her toes make a sticky sound on the side when she walks, like this. Well, she doesn't walk really. It's more of a shuffle. She uses a walker to help her get around. I think they should call it a shuffler. After lesson, she always asks, "Does anyone have a question?" "I have a question. Pick me, pick me. I have a question, Miss Perkins." "Yes, what is it, Susie?" "Were you alive in the Bible days?" "Alive in the Bible days? Goodness sakes, child, no. Not during the Old Testament, anyway." I told Mr. Baxter I'd be in his class next year. Boy, was he excited. I think I even saw a little tear come to his eye. We're having a revival at our church this week, and I was a special blessing to the evangelist last night. After service, he stood to shake everyone's hands as they left. But when he shook my hand, I gave him $1 from my piggy bank. I want you to have this because I'm a helper, and nobody helps like Susie P. Crumper-DePaul-Paulus. "Yes, that's what I hear, but why are you giving me $1? "Well, I thought you could use it, because my daddy says you're the poorest preacher he's ever heard." I'm excited about tonight's service, because afterward is the big potluck dinner. My mom is known for always bringing her famous deviled eggs with the red powder on them. Last time we had a dinner at our church, she was out of the red powder stuff, but said that it would be okay without it. I could tell she was disappointed, so I helped her. I looked in the back, and sure enough, we did have some red chili powder. I poured a lot on, just like my mommy does. But my pastor took one bite and said, "Who, I say, who made these eggs?" And I let him know my mommy did. But I was very humble and didn't tell him how I helped her at all, but that she did it all by herself. I guess they were so good that everyone got the recipe, and now make them a lot, because Mommy says she's not to bring them anymore. For tonight's potluck, Mom made cupcakes. I like the way she puts the icing on, then breaks up Hershey bar in those little chocolate rectangles and puts a piece on top. I love Hershey bars, so when Mom wasn't looking, I ate one from one of the cupcakes. Then I ate another, and before I knew it, all the chocolates were gone. I thought I'd get into trouble until after lunch, when I went to brush my teeth. In the medicine cabinet was a whole box full of those little chocolate rectangles. They weren't made by the Hershey Company, though. They were made by the Lax people, so I made sure to put the name face down with icing so no one would ever know. My mommy's cupcakes are so good. I'm going to make sure everybody knows she made them. My mommy's cupcakes are amazing. Yes, sir. When it comes to being a helper, nobody helps like Susie P. Crumper-DePaul-Paulus.
Ensemble from Landmark Christian Academy, and today we will be singing Make My Life an Alleluia by Luther Range Schramm.
My name is Angel Helton, and I'm in the 7th grade at Landmark Christian Academy, and I will be reciting Shane, A Vision of Blinded Love by William Carver. A tear escaped from the pale blue eye of the fair 16-year-old girl who stood nearest the deep cavity in the earth, and the tear dropped delicately onto the wooden resting place of one who would never cry again. The wind caught a lock of Stephanie's raven black hair and made it dance around her slightly scarred brow. She fingered gingerly the wild daisy she held in her hand. It brought back sweet memories of childhood before she had fully understood about her brother's handicap. I am the beautiful Princess Stephanie, and you are my charming prince. You love me very much. Now say that you love me, my charming Prince Shane. I love you very much. You are my beautiful Princess Destiny. Oh, thank you for the pretty daisies. I shall plant them right here by my window. Shane never failed to tell his beautiful Stephanie that he loved her. And every day, he waited for her to say it back. But it never came. She wondered now why she had never said it, just once. The faint smell of daisies brought back more memories. Stephanie now saw a 10-year-old Shane on his first day of his 5th grade year at school. "Hello, Stephanie. You ready to go home now?" Stephanie's new friends gave a look of disdain at the retarded boy. "Hey, Steph, who's the retard?" "Probably your brother. I knew she was a little strange." How should I know who he is?" "Silly Stephanie, I'm Shane, your brother." "Oh, Shane, the kid down the street. How could I forget?" "It's a game, Shane. If you want to play, don't say anything. Just go behind the school and wait for me." "Okay, I guess I'll see you around the neighborhood. Goodbye." "Oh, a game? Oh, I love games." "Okay, I will play it good. Bye, my Princess Stephanie." Stephanie's new friends were now doubled over in laughter. "Princess? I don't know you that well. Go away and swoon over somebody else. Go, get lost." From that day on, Stephanie and Shane Kasich were to be neighbors, never brother and sister at school. Stephanie somehow convinced Shane Daly that she wasn't serious at school, just playing around. Thus, day by day, year by year, the deception continued. By the time Stephanie was a junior in high school, she could not stand to look at Shane. He reminded her of the lie she was living. Stephanie rolled her eyes in disgust as she saw 14-year-old Shane making his way down the school steps. He looked up with a jerk that was only half controlled, trying to find his adopted sister. As soon as she was in view, a big smile flashed across his face. She watched as Shane spotted her car. He looked up with a jerk that was only half controlled, trying to find his adopted sister. As soon as she was in view, a big smile flashed across his face. He moved his gnarled legs with great concentration and tried to run toward her, but he tripped and fell. Stephanie quickly excused herself from her friends and glided behind a large oak tree. She watched as Shane spotted her car, meandered over to it, and got in. She had to grip the bark of the tree she was concealed behind to keep from screaming out in anger. "Hey, who's that retard in Steph's car? Where'd she go, anyway?" Once again, Stephanie's tongue was quick with a lie. "Isn't this awful? His parents were out of town for the day, and since we're neighbors, I was asked to drive him home. I almost turned them down, but my heart's just too big, you know? Of course, I'm being paid to do it. Yeah, $40. Well, I better go. I don't want him to drool in my car." Stephanie spun out of the parking lot as fast as she could. Shane held up a piece of paper. "Stephanie, Just be quiet, Shane. I thought I told you never to come in front of the school to meet me. If any of my friends saw us together or thought we were related, they'd laugh me to scorn." "Oh, you mean the game? I didn't play it good." "How could you be so stupid? It was never a game, Shane. I can't stand you. You're so ugly and twisted, and I wish I never even had a brother." I'm sorry, Stephanie. I just wanted to give you my present. I drew it myself. Stephanie looked down to see the most beautiful picture of a little girl wearing a diamond crown and holding some perfectly defined wild daisies. A tear welled up in her eye as she read the shaky signature. "To my beautiful Princess Stephanie, I love." The terrifying sound of the shattering brakes and the blast of an air horn caused Stephanie to quickly turn her head, just in time to see the tractor trailer. Then, crashing, shattering glass, grinding steel, screeching metal,
The car ran off an embankment and crashed into a tree. Silence penetrated the air.
Oh, my head. I can't move. I can't see. It's so dark. Fire! Fire! I gotta get out. Oh, my leg. I can't move. Shane! Shane! Shane, help me!
Thrown clear from the car, Shane lay in a motionless heap on the wet grass. At the sound of Stephanie's cries for help, his twisted limbs began moving almost involuntarily toward the object of his love. He was doubled over in indescribable pain.
I'm coming, Stesney. I'm coming. Where are you, Stesney? Shane, I'm blind. I can't see. Get me out of the car and away from the fire. It's okay, Stesney. Shane is here. I will get you out. Just hold on to me. Hold on. Hold on.
With a superhuman strength born of love, Shane pulled his bleeding sister from the blazing car. 20 feet away from the car, he collapsed in unconsciousness, falling on top of her just as the car exploded. But this beautiful princess was safe, protected from the explosion by Shane's body. Holding her daisies, Stephanie stood near the coffin, silently, sightlessly waiting to say the words Shane had longed to hear. Shane,
they tell me you're here, but I can't see you. I can't hear your voice. Oh, I'm sorry. I was ashamed of someone as wonderful as you. You showed me true love. But until now, I was too blind to see it. Though I never said it before, I love you. I do love you, my Prince Shane, with all of my heart. Now and forever. Goodbye.
We are the youth choir from Landmark Christian Academy, and today we will be performing The Majesty and Glory of Your Name by Tom Fetke.
I'm Jimmy Darty.
I'm Mason Holland. And I'm Autumn Pierce.
And we're in the 9th grade from Landmark Christian Academy.
And we'll be reciting What Women Don't Understand About Guys by Dave Barry.
Contrary to what many women believe, it's easy to develop a long-term fulfilling relationship with a guy. Of course the guy has to be a Labrador Retriever. With human guys, it's extremely difficult. This is because guys don't really grasp what women mean by the relationship. Let's say a guy named Roger asks a girl named Elaine out to dinner. She accepts, they have a nice time. A few nights later, he asks her to go with him to a special service at church. They enjoy themselves. They continue to see each other regularly, and pretty soon, neither is seeing anybody else.
As they drive, they speak very few words, but many things are thought by both. As a matter of fact, much more is thought than spoken. Then one evening as they were driving home from church, a thought occurs to Elaine. She says,
Roger, do you realize we've been seeing each other for exactly 6 months?
Silence fills the car. To Elaine, it seems like a very loud silence. She thinks to herself,
Wow, I wonder if it bothers him that I said that. Maybe he feels confined by a relationship. Maybe he thinks I'm pushing him towards some kind of obligation.
Man, 6 months?
But hey, I'm not so sure I want this kind of relationship either. Are we headed towards marriage, towards children, towards a lifetime together? Will we help serve the Lord together? Will we help bring each other closer to the Lord and be a help to each other? Am I ready for this level of commitment? Do I really know this person?
That means it was, let's see, February when we started going out, which was right after I had the car in the dealers, which means, let me check the odometer. Whoa, I'm way overdue for an oil change here.
He's upset. I can see it on his face. Maybe I'm reading this completely wrong. Maybe he wants more from our relationship. More commitment. Maybe he senses my reservation. Yep, that's it. He's afraid of being rejected.
I'm gonna have them look at the transmission again. I don't care what those morons say. This thing's still not shifting right, and they better not try to blame it on the cold weather this time. It's 87 degrees outside, and this thing is shifting like a garbage truck. And I paid those incompetent, thieving cretins $600.
He's angry. I don't blame him. I'd be angry too. I just feel guilty for putting him through this, but I can't help the way I feel. I'm just not sure.
They'll probably say it's only a 90-day warranty. Yeah, that's exactly what they're gonna say.
Maybe I'm too idealistic, waiting for a knight to come riding up on a white horse when I'm sitting next to a perfectly good person who's in pain because of my self-centered schoolgirl fantasy.
Warranty? I'll show them a warranty.
Roger!
What?
I mean, I know there's no knight and there's no horse.
There's no horse?
You think I'm a fool, don't you?
No.
It's just that I need more time.
Yes?
Oh, Roger, do you really feel that way?
What way?
The way about time.
Yes.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Roger takes Elaine home. She was a conflicted soul, weeping until dawn. Roger went to his home. He opened a bag of chips, read the newspaper, and became immediately engrossed in the sports section. A tiny voice in his mind tells him that something major was going on back there in the car, but he figures it's better not to think about it. The next day, Elaine will call her closest friend, and they will talk for 6 straight hours. In painstaking detail, they will analyze everything she said and everything he said. They will continue to discuss the subject for weeks, never reaching any definite conclusion, but never getting bored with it either. Meanwhile, Roger, while on church visitation with a friend of his and Elaine's, will pause just before knocking on the door and ask,
Norm, did Elaine ever own a horse?
We're not talking about different wavelengths here. We're talking about different planets and completely different solar systems. He has a guy brain, basically an analytic problem-solving organ. It's just not comfortable with nebulous concepts such as love, need, and trust. If a guy has to form an opinion about somebody, it prefers to base it on facts, such as his or her earned run average. Women have trouble accepting this. They're convinced that guys must spend a certain amount of time thinking about the relationship. After all, the Bible does talk about the husband loving the wife as Christ loved the church, and even gave himself for it. How could a guy see another human being day after day, night after night, and not even be thinking about that kind of love, the commitment, the relationship? Thus, the #1 tip for women to remember is never, even after you're married to a guy, you still never assume that he understands that you and he have a relationship. You have to plant the idea in his brain by constantly making subtle references, such as,
Roger, would you mind passing me the sugar in as much as we have a relationship?
or,
Wake up, Roger! There's a prowler in the den, and we have a relationship. You and I do, I mean.
or,
Good news, Roger. The doctor says we're gonna have our 4th child. Another indication that we have a relationship.
or,
Roger, and as much as this plane's crashing, and we only have a minute to live, I want you to know that we've had a wonderful 53 years of marriage, which clearly constitutes our relationship.
never let up, learn to pound away relentlessly at this concept, and eventually it will start to penetrate the guy's brain. Someday he might even start thinking about it on his own. He'll be talking with a group of guys about women, and out of the blue he'll say,
Elaine and I, we have this thing.
And he will sincerely mean it.
Dominus, Christus Dominus, hodie resurrexit. Christus Dominus, hodie resurrexit. Resurrexit. Resurrexit.
Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia.
Alleluia. Hallelujah.
Christ the Lord is risen today.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Sons of men and angels say,
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Raise your joys and triumphs high. Hallelujah.
sing ye heavens and earth's reply.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Whoa, glorious King. Hallelujah. 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 Dying once he all does save. Hallelujah.
Where thy victory, O grave.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Christus Dominus hodie resurrexit. Christus Dominus hodie resurrexit. Love's redeeming work is done. Hallelujah. But the final battle won. Hallelujah. Death and pain forbids him rise. Hallelujah. Christ has opened paradise.
Thank you for